300 undercover LAPD officers are suing their department and the city of Los Angeles after their personal information. This includes names, badge numbers, and photos were all leaked online. An anti-police activist group called Watch the Watchers then published the info, letting anyone search LAPD officers by their name and gain access to their profile in the name of counter-surveillance. Matthew McNicholas is the attorney representing these 300 officers, and Jamie McBride is an LAPD detective, but not directly involved with this lawsuit. Guys, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
Jamie, I want to go to you first. Even though I know you're not a part of this lawsuit, you're an LAPD detective. So tell us how damaging and dangerous this is, especially to the detectives, the undercover officers. I mean, not only for them, but for their families.
Yes, well, first of all, I've already seen what's going on. Some of the photos that were leaked already have side-by-sides of officers who are currently working undercover, has what they look like now with the photos that were released, and those are being tweeted out already. So now imagine we have officers working undercover in drug cartels, Mexican mafia, human trafficking, and that's stressful enough. But now that these photos are out, can you imagine walking in with an informant into a house and not knowing that you're, that the person might have your photo, and you walk in, you get shot? The stress level is tenfold right now with these officers. The stress they're going through because of the department, how reckless they were on releasing these photos. I
mean, Jamie, is anything going to change with how these undercover officers, especially, go about their jobs? I mean, like you said, you can't just walk into something undercover when it has to do with drugs or gangs and expect to feel safe. Is there anything being done right now, at least in the interim?
Well, we have some very dedicated officers, but unfortunately, some operations have already been shut down. We have some officers that temporarily moved out of their homes. We have officers that are setting up security cameras around their houses. And not only that, though, but let's think about the informants who introduced these officers into undercover operations. Now their lives are in jeopardy, as well as their families. This is a snowball effect. It's a lot bigger than just what's on the surface. This is a very dangerous thing. This is the most reckless and probably the worst security breach I've seen in my 32 years with the Los Angeles Police Department.
Do you think there's going to be a lot of officers and detectives quit?
Well, I have been approached by some of the younger officers who don't feel safe already, and now they see the department doesn't care about their safety. They're talking about leaving, going to other departments. So we've already seen that now. We've already been listening to officers. They don't want to be here. When you have a department that doesn't have their backs, they don't want to be here.
Right. I don't blame them. I don't blame them one bit. Their job's hard enough as it is. Matthew, tell us what this lawsuit you're heading up is seeking.
So we are representing the officers against the department who had agreed to, through the city attorney, release photos. But amazingly, the agreement said that they weren't going to release undercover photos. But Personnel Division for the city and LAPD didn't follow that admonition and released everybody's photos. So at this point, we're moving with all due speed to try and get the city to sit down with us to start to take the immediate measures to protect their employees, their officers, their employees' families, and to protect these undercover clandestine investigations. And as Mr. McBride stated, this is a snowball effect. And we have been retained by over 400 clients. And many of them tell us these stories about how they've had to move their families within hours, if not days, of the release. And we have one client who was working opening day at Dodger Stadium, and a known gang member walked up to him and said, "I saw your picture." And he used to be a UC, an undercover. So obviously, the law only allows me as a lawyer, it's very limited, to seek money damages. And the hope is that when you're seeking the money damages, people who have to write the check, the political parties, sit down and say, how do we make this less? And so, again, on your program, as I have done on other news programs, I'm asking the mayor and the city attorney to sit down with us, which I've been asking for now for a week, to try and craft the other items of non-monetary damages to protect our department and my clients.
It's amazing to me that this has been going on for weeks now, and you've been asking them to sit down and come up with something. And I mean, from what you're telling me, they're just not right now?
They seem to be in stunned silence. You know, indecision gets you nowhere but trouble. But, I have, separate and apart from this, I've been suing the Los Angeles Police Department on behalf of officers for 25 years. I currently represent over 75 officers up and down the state, and they just don't move.
Right. Well, good luck to you, and I hope that there can be some justice. I mean, the damage seems to be done at this point, but hopefully there's some justice for these officers. Matthew McNicholas and Jamie McBride, thank you so much for your time this morning.